at the Louvre, and it's one of those places where I never thought I would be. I'm kind of having an out-of-body experience. It's so incredible to be here because there's so much famous artwork inside, and I cannot wait to go. As much as I love all of the food in Paris, you have to go to the museums when you're there. The Louvre, I mean, we've all read about it, we dream about going there. I literally lost my mind when I stepped into the courtyard. Having an out-of-body experience. There's the Musee D'orsay, which is where all of the Impressionists are. You can spend days and days just seeing all of the artwork. And while I don't have the Louvre here, I do have something else. I tend to collect a lot of artwork when I go on vacations, and this actually started when I was traveling in Paris. There are so many street artists around that are so talented that I couldn't help myself from bringing back tons and tons of artwork. So I thought, since we can't go to a museum, I will give you a tour of all of my Parisian street art. So here are two of my favorites, some watercolors that one artist I found along the Seine painted, and I love the colors because they're so pastel and muted, but this is really all the colors you see all around the city of Paris, so it just makes me feel like I'm there again. So this one behind me is a pencil drawing, and I really liked this artist so much. You're gonna see I have a couple more of his pieces around my house, but what I liked is that he did this all by hand with just a simple pencil, and then, you know, there's that tiny little pop of color in the trees, and it's just such a beautiful scene of Paris. I can picture myself sitting along the Seine as if it was real life, and every morning when I come into my kitchen and this is here, it just makes me smile. It really makes you feel like you're in Paris. So here's another pencil drawing, and I had to get this one because the little dog looked just like my Copley Square, so I saw it hanging there amongst all his other drawings, and I said, well, I obviously have to get that one too because my little tiny baby is in it. I mentioned the Musée d'Orsay, which is my favorite museum in Paris because that's where all of the Impressionists are. I remember turning the corner into a room where Degas' Little Dancer, age 14 statue was, and I burst into tears. They actually have a second copy of the statue here at the Norton Simon Museum in Pasadena, California, and when I was there, I picked up a little maquette of it. So now I have my little dancer with me all the time. Here's another pencil drawing. I loved the pops of color, but I think what I really loved most about this is Paris is such a romantic city. It's what we all think of when we think of Paris. So I loved that it was just a couple in the bottom walking in the rain with a bright red umbrella across the Pont des Arts, which is the famous Lovelock Bridge, where everybody, you know, writes their initials and puts a lock of love on the fencing of the bridge. It's just very iconic Paris, and my favorite little backstory to this actually is the artist who did this, his stall was set up right on the Seine, so this was the actual view where you bought the piece of art, and I just thought that was really cool. I feel like you can't get artwork in Paris and not have one of the Eiffel Tower. It's such an icon, and I loved this because the watercolors are so vibrant and it just looks like spring in Paris with like the gorgeous rain clouds, but still the blue sky and all the green. And I really loved that. So I think this was actually the first piece of art I bought in Paris because it just, I mean, it's an icon. I love it. I'm in the Tuileries, which are a beautiful garden in the middle of Paris. It's adjacent to the Louvre, so it's a great place to come after your visit there. There are beautiful sculptures and fountains and flower gardens, and it's a great place to relax. But when you come to a park, you have to have a snack. You
can't come and sit in the park and not have a snack. When I travel, I like to try local cuisine, local snacks. So we picked up this bag of Lay's potato chips, but they're bolognese flavor. And I'm not quite sure how this is gonna go, so I'm just gonna try it, it's fine. I mean, it's not terrible. Maybe it's terrible. It doesn't really taste like bolognese sauce. I don't know. But maybe try them next time you're in Paris.
I like to think I'm a food connoisseur. When I'm on vacation, my favorite thing to do is to try new foods and all of the local cuisine. Luckily for me, Paris is known for their bread and cheese, which are my favorites. But not just any bread, they're fresh baked baguettes. So while I'm being safe at home and in quarantine, I found a recipe to try to make baguettes at home.
So the first thing we have to do is make our dough. So what we're gonna do is start with my poolish. This is basically a starter. I made it last night because it has to rest for at least 14 hours. So it's really just flour, water, and a little bit of yeast. Mix, 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 cover it, and let it sit at room temperature overnight. So that's gonna go in first. Okay, so all of the poolish in the bowl. Then we're gonna take our yeast, our water, flour, oops, obviously I am not a professional chef, and the salt. And if you have a KitchenAid stand mixer, you're just gonna knead this for 4 minutes on level 2. And the dough should be a little bit sticky at the bottom when it's done. Okay, we kneaded for 4 minutes. So what we're gonna do is take the dough out and we're gonna put it in a lightly greased bowl. Cover your dough, let it rest for 90 minutes at room temperature, and then halfway through, 45 minutes, we are going to deflate the dough, kind of knock out some of the air, and then it'll continue resting for the remaining 45 minutes.
So that's the Eiffel Tower behind me. No big deal or anything. I'm not freaking out. Just let's go.
On the elevator, we're gonna go to the top of the Eiffel Tower. It's a little freaky, go sideways. It's gonna be so fun. This is slightly terrifying. It's so cool. Made it to the top. We're at the summit of the Eiffel Tower. That elevator ride was terrifying. It was touch and go there for a minute, but the view is stunning. You can see all around Paris.
Okay, so it's been 45 minutes and I just have to deflate or knock back the dough to get a little bit of the air out. So all I'm gonna do is kind of fold in the edges. Recover it, and now it's gonna rest for another 45 minutes. 90 minutes is up. Now we get to the hard part where we have to shape the baguettes. So first step is to put the dough out onto your countertop, or if you have a cutting board, that's fine. Just lightly grease it. And we are gonna cut this into 3 equal pieces. So sticky. If I really wanted to be a good baker, I'd measure this, but I'm a little lazy. So we have have our 3 equal pieces. Now we have to roll this into a ball. Doesn't have to be perfect. You're basically just gonna pick up the edges, fold it into a little ball, turn it around kind of good. It helps shape it into a ball. And then I'm just gonna put it over to the side, seam side up, and go back with my other 2 pieces. Nervous about the shaping, but there we go. So we have everything in into their little balls. And what we're going to do is basically cover this back up. It is going to rest for 15 more minutes, and then we shape our baguettes. Okay, they've rested. Now it's time to shape the baguettes, and I'm not kidding. I'm terrified. I'm so nervous I'm gonna mess this up because I want to make them pretty for the end result. So the first thing we do is we take one of our pieces and we kind of flatten it out a little bit. And then I'm going to take it and fold one side to the center and kind of seal the seam. Turn it around and repeat on the opposite side. So now you can see it's kind of like a little brick. And now you do the same process, but you use your thumb to fold the top into the center and then seal it with the base of your hand as you're going along, because you kind of want to seal the seam. And if you can see, I don't know if you can see, but there's a ton of little air bubbles popping up, so that's cool. Flip it, repeat again. Oh gosh, 5 minutes without. Please no judgment if they're ugly, it'll still taste good. Okay, so now you can see I have a nice seam. It's kind of tapered a little bit. I'm gonna take the seam side down and I start to roll this. You want it to be about 16 inches long. And that makes a nice like 15-inch baguette or so. So they tell me. I'm probably gonna make mine a little smaller so it'll fit on my little board. Okay. So roll it out and then kind of taper the ends a little bit, which will give it that really nice little baguette shape. And there we go. So now I'm gonna move this to my little baking sheet that I have lined with parchment, and I'm gonna do the same thing with the other two. And hopefully they turn out okay. And then quick, close the oven. These are now gonna bake somewhere between 24 to 28 minutes until they're really deep golden brown, and then they're ready to eat. I feel like maybe I outdid. One of them looks a little weird, like that it has a nipple on the end. We won't put that one in the video. But this one here looks really good. It's time. Oh gosh, here we go. I wish you guys could smell. How good these smell.
Before I went to Paris for the first time, all I wanted was to sit at a sidewalk cafe, eat cheese and bread, and have wine. And that's what I did for 8 days. all I ate was bread and cheese with wine. And I actually found a new to me wine that I really love. It is Sancerre, which is kind of like a Sauvignon Blanc. It's really crisp and light and fresh, which is perfect for Southern California right now because it is so hot. And then here I have some of my favorite French cheeses. Brie, which is my ultimate favorite cheese. We have some Comté, which is kind of like the everyday French cheese. We don't eat it here a lot, but over there they put it in all of their salads and sandwiches, and it's just got this really nice nutty flavor. And then of course there's Camembert, which is like this ooey goodness from Normandy. And you have to have fig jam if you're in Paris eating a cheese plate. And this is what made me so happy in Paris. This is everything to me. So when you're planning your at-home Parisian backyard vacation, you definitely need a cheese plate, you need a glass of Sancerre, and then you can pretend like you're at this gorgeous Parisian cafe, practicing the art of flânerie, which is people watching and what the Parisians excel in. So cheers. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you liked it. I hope you had fun. I hope you're going to get some wine and cheese and make yourself baguettes and live the French life in your backyard until we can all go to Paris again. And please don't forget to share my video and subscribe and hit like. I really appreciate it. Bye.
Arc de Triomphe. It's pretty massive. I'm probably gonna go shopping down Champs-Élysées.